Hey guys, how's it going? So today I've got some gorgeous new shrubs to plant. There are 3 varieties, 5 shrubs total. Erin and I were actually out shopping last week in Boise, Idaho. We live right on the border of Oregon and Idaho, and so it's about an hour away. We love to go over there. And one of the places we like to stop is Far West Nursery. And honestly, every time we go there, they have such a beautiful selection of proven winners plants. And they're usually like in peak performance. In fact, I mean, these are the only 5 we bought because these are the only 5 we could fit inside of our truck. They had the most glorious pinky winky hydrangeas I have about ever seen. And I had about 20 of them, and I thought, oh, we should get 14 of those and put them in the big pots along our east side fence line. That would be so pretty. And I think the lighting would work, and I think, you know, all these things, and I was just really working myself up about it. And then we realized we didn't have near enough room to haul all of those back home. So these are the ones I ended up with, and I'm super happy with them. So I thought we could talk about it a little bit because I don't think I have planted these before. This is called a purple haze butterfly bush. I planted these in a yard that's not ours. So it belongs to some family members, or did belong to some family members before they sold the house, and they performed so beautifully. I told Erin, like, dang, I wish I would have put those in my own garden. So I thought the next time I see them, I need to snatch them. The thing I like about this variety is it stays really small. So it grows 2 to 3 feet tall, I think, right about there, and about 3 feet wide. They actually kind of have more of an appearance of being wider than tall. So they have like this spreading kind of almost ground covery appearance. And the blooms are so big. We can't get the Pugster series of Buddleia here in our area because they're not sterile. But these are the closest thing to me in my experience that we can get, because in Oregon, you have to have sterile varieties of butterfly bushes. The other ones we can't get. So it's like this. It's the Lo and Behold series, right? Lo and Behold and the Miss series, Miss Violet, Miss Ruby, and all of those. But this one has such a big, beautiful bloom, and they just attract all the pollinators. Zone 5 through 9, they can handle drought areas, really, really bright sunshine, like full sun, that's what they prefer. And they like the harshness of our climate. So that's something that I always want to keep. Let me pull one up for you so you can see it. And I mean, look at how gorgeous that is. They're just huge. And when I saw them, I'm like, Erin, we got to get a cart. These are the first 3 we put on the cart. So I got 3 of these today. And then we've got a couple more gorgeous ones. So this is a Brandywine Viburnum. I've actually not grown this one personally in my own garden. And this variety and the next one I'm going to show you are both types of plants that can take fairly wet soil. So if you've got that issue, this one and the button bush I'm going to show you can take that. Butterfly bushes, no. They need a spot that is well draining. So these kind of address 2 different situations in the garden, really. But the thing I love about this one, I mean, look at the leaves. They are so glossy. They are so pretty. The only thing that could make this better is if this was an evergreen shrub, if it could stay looking like this all year, but it has so much to offer really in the other seasons, spring, summer, and fall. I mean, you can see right now it's starting to color up, and typically it gets to be like, well, here's a leaf right here. So it gets to be like this color and then a really deep burgundy color late in the fall. So it provides this like glorious fall show. And then in the spring, it's got clusters of blooms that are followed by berries that are green, and then they turn to multiple shades of pink and blue. So it's not just like a cluster of blue berries or a cluster of pink berries, it's like a mix. They're so pretty, and they do not require a pollinator. So you can just plant this one and you'll get the berries. The thing about it, it does grow 5 to 6 feet tall and wide, and it blooms on old wood, which means if you need to prune this plant, you would have to do it right as soon as it's done blooming in the spring, which means you would cut off the berry production for the next, or for that year. So you really want to put it somewhere that you can let it just grow to its full size, and that way you can enjoy the blooms and the berries, and you don't ever have to worry about missing out on one of those things. So anyway, super excited about that. And let me get the next one up here. Oh, the color! Sugar Shack button bush. This is the first time I've ever grown a button bush before, which is very exciting to me. And I really hope that it likes our soil. I think I can give it the water it needs, because I actually term this one a bog plant. So if you've got an area where standing water is an issue, or it's just not draining quick enough, this might be a really good option. It grows, I believe, 3 to 4 feet-ish tall and wide, which traditional button bushes usually get a lot bigger than that. So this one has been kind of bred to be a smaller version, so it can tuck into your garden a lot easier. And I think a really great thing about this shrub is it's a zone 4 through 10. So oftentimes, like, you find shrubs that are a zone 5 through 9, and they don't cover like those kind of outer zones. And so I'm always impressed when we find something that can like withstand all of these different growing zones. I think that's a really good range. And the bloom is so cool. It's like this little white sphere with spines all over it, fragrant. They're followed by red berries, but when they're blooming, they attract all the pollinators. So bees, hummingbirds, butterflies, all of those things, which is really fun. So I really feel like all of these things provide so much for the garden, and these are all going to go, I believe, on the west side. So we are going to have, the west side I had intended on doing a moon garden. These do have white blooms. These do have creamy white blooms. These do not. So this will be my first edition of perennial color over there, and that kind of excites me a little bit because we are abandoning the moon garden concept. So let's take these over there. I think I know where I'm going to place them. Then we'll get them in the ground. So down here, kind of by the end of the west side, you can see how I was going for that moon garden look, which it is filled in really beautifully. Most of this stuff, well, some of it is annual and it won't be here next year. But this is where I thought the butterfly bushes would look really good. So just kind of ringing around the base of this limelight hydrangea standard, which I transplanted last fall really late. So I'm thrilled with how it's done this year. And it just makes me so happy to see this color. I can't even explain it. It's just such a happy day. Let me show you where the other ones are going. But first you have to look at this. I posted a picture, I think like a week or 10 days ago, and said, I think I'm ready to clean these urns out. And then this happened. Like, they were looking a little bit tired, and then it started to cool off big time in the evenings. And this alyssum just has, it is a phenomenal plant. And we've got Supertunia white. The Scaevola whirlwind white, I don't see that one coming out quite as strong, but these two will last for a long time. Button bush is going to go right here. I think that'll be a really nice texture. I'm trying to be really careful not to plant things that get too tall in front of the urns, because I really want these to always shine as like the structure of this area. So that's there. And then the viburnum is going to tuck in right here. So you can just see I'm going to be slowly working on my layers. We'll start with taller layers back toward the arborvitaes, and then we'll work towards some shorter stuff in the front. So now we're just going to dig some holes and get them in the ground, and then we'll take a look. That's actually good, Erin. Butterfly bushes don't want to be planted even at root ball level. They want to be up a little bit above soil grade. Can't have any water hitting the crown of that plant. Ooh, you didn't hit the drip tube. Lucky.
Is that deep enough?
Yeah, if I would have done that hole, I would have hit the drip tube. Probably multiple times. Skills. Butterfly bushes are in, and I think they're going to be perfect size for this area. They'll just kind of ring around the bottom of this limelight hydrangea, and these will both be in bloom every single year at the same time. So get this look every single year, except for every year they'll just get more established and more dense and full of bloom. So this really is exciting to me, and I really like these other shrubs too. Also, Erin was commenting as we were planting these that he just kind of noticed how much the North Pole arborvitaes have been growing. You remember when we planted them, it's been almost like 2.5, almost 3 years ago. It was 2 seasons ago, right, Erin? Yeah. They met about the middle railing of the fence back here. So they were about this tall when we planted them. So they've at least doubled in size. So that's really exciting. But here is the button bush. I think it looks really pretty right there. I think it's going to be a good size for right there. Oh, it's just so pretty to have that color in here. And I know like it's showing fall color, so you're thinking like, is it too late in the fall to plant? And it's actually, we've got a beautiful forecast for the next 10 days. It's in the 80s. The nighttime temperatures are still like high 40s, low 50s. And typically if you can get them in the ground at least 6 weeks before your first hard frost, which is when it dips to 28, then you're usually okay. And it gives them time to root in. But any plant does better in the ground than it does in its container. So, I mean, even if you find yourself a little bit later in the season, I'd go ahead and get it in the ground, unless you have a greenhouse to winter it over in. And then the viburnum right here. And this one, I mean, I think it's just gonna fill the space. In fact, I'm kind of looking at it here. It should only reach to about here at its max width. It should just fill in this space right here. So I think we'll be good. For a second there, I thought, oh man, I'm gonna have to move it over this way, but I think we're good. Anyway, that's it for today's video. I'm super excited to start filling in even more now that we kind of know what we're doing in this space. It's a little bit of a free-for-all in terms of color. I'm just gonna start going for it and start popping some stuff in. So I'm hoping over the next week at least to really start working on getting that done. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye. All right guys, real quick, I completely forgot to mention when we were out here planting these butterfly bushes the other day, which I think look so pretty. I've had a chance to enjoy them for a day or two, and I'm loving the color. But I forgot to mention that fall is actually not an ideal time to be planting butterfly bushes, and it mostly has to do with climate. They are a plant that's susceptible to rotting with too much moisture, and if you plant them in the ground too late, right before you get a bunch of moisture, a bunch of rain or snow, you know, it can be detrimental to the plant. We live in a very dry climate typically. We get some winter moisture, some winters more than others, but I've had fairly good luck planting these just whenever. I just make sure to bump that root ball up above the normal soil level so that there's no way that water can pool around the crown of the plant. But for most climates, it's best to plant these in spring through about midsummer so they have a chance to establish themselves during a drier season. So I just wanted to let you guys know that because I've talked about it in a previous video and I didn't want to contradict myself, so I just wanted to explain that. So anyway, thank you guys for watching this. Bye.